that crash for some reason. Just but could be severe.
I'm biting more than I can chew.
Fine. Yeah, much. Okay. Then I put in label.
Oh, okay. Hey. Yo, okay. I measure yo. Yo. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes.
We're back to
say a lower way for say a circle in that. That's it. Man's about you with your Nagro. You watch. Yes, you watch. But you see, watch your mother. Ready? Okay. Yes. You see, watch it. Good evening. I must say, you see, watch it.
yeah.
We are late, extremely late, and we just have to apologize to our listeners. We were both held up, not in traffic, but due to circumstances beyond our control. But thank God we are in the studios, and the show is about to begin. So I just want to say a very good evening to all our listeners out there, and for those of you watching on Facebook, our viewers. It's time again for us to, come your way with another edition of Crossfire. My good friend, how are you?
I am good, sir. I'm good. It's been a while. As always, I'm lucky enough to be part of the divine selection, so I can't really complain. I'm just great. I'm glad. Good to be here. Good to be here.
That's good. All right. Yes. Tonight we have quite an interesting lineup of topics to talk about.
Yeah.
But what's happening? I mean, the world is in turmoil. We usually start around the world. My good friend is saying he's promising fire and fury
against North Korea.
What's wrong with this man?
Well, I mean,
Fire and fury against
that's
North Korea.
one thing I believe the whole of America is behind him.
He doesn't mess around.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sure the whole of America behind him as far as this one is concerned, because this North Korean leader is becoming
unbecoming.
Yeah, that's
He's becoming
unbecoming. And the provocation, and then
it's scary and it's annoying.
Yeah.
So you see, sometimes things happen for a reason. You know that.
Yeah.
That tells you that
true.
Trump's election was designed by purpose because of this guy's provocation.
Are you telling me that Hillary wouldn't have done so?
Oh my God!
Hillary probably would have done so.
We had Barack Obama in the White House promising that if Assad uses chemical weapons, red light, this is what will happen. What happened? Nothing. And Trump, he used chemical weapons, but there was some action.
You see, the difference is
so that tells you that, you see, it's not just about actually doing the thing, but demonstrating that willingness that if you mess around, these are the consequences you are going to face.
Oh yeah,
that is something that sometimes you need that strong will behind you, that power, someone who is willing to challenge the force out there. But Barack Obama is a pacifist. Guys, let's George.
You reckon?
Well, that's what I feel. Well, I do like him in terms of what he did to Bin Laden. It was a smart move. He was able to, Bush with all his power and all, he couldn't get rid of
Don't
Bin
forget
Laden.
that sometimes it's easy to go the dialogue way than to attack, even if you have to.
He did achieve a lot, though. For instance, look at the Iran, nuclear deal that he had with them. Although critics are saying that has also given Iran the opportunity to start, stockpiling weapons and then restarting their, nuclear program. Although they might say under the guise of peaceful, purposes.
Yeah.
All right. But you never know. When the time comes, peaceful purposes, it can be turned to anything. I think Ghana, we should start doing some nuclear stuff. We just shot a satellite into space. So why not?
Yeah.
We will be a force to reckon with. Trust me. Libya, Gaddafi wanted to do that. And they said if he stopped his nuclear program, he will lift sanctions and everything. And foolishly he did. And they lifted the sanction, but look at what they did to him. They came after him. Do you think if Gaddafi had nuclear weapons, anyone would attempt to go to Gaddafi? No.
Well,
they wouldn't.
That nuclear weapon thing is just they hid behind that to say that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They wouldn't attempt going in there at all, because if he had nuclear weapons, all this nonsense going on wouldn't have happened in Libya. Libya would have been stable by now, but because he didn't have it, this is where he is. He's gone. And look at Libya today. And that is why they are determined not to allow this guy to have nuclear weapons, because if he has it, he can hold everyone to ransom. He'll tell you, hey, give me this. If you don't give me, this is what I'll do.
No, I'm just surprised that the whole world seems to be sitting back and letting America fight that war alone. Well, it's clear that...
No, but it's also clear that he's got two superpowers. Or I won't say superpowers, but two powerful nations behind him.
They are always, no matter what.
Russia and
China will always oppose everything America will do. They always...
No, this recent
on the opposite
Security
side.
Council resolution,
when they part of it,
they were all there. They supported it.
Yeah.
It was a unanimous decision to impose sanctions. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to the crunch where you expect that actually they passed the sanctions, there are already sanctions, but it's not working.
After the sanction, they're making a whole lot of threats. So I don't know whether they're gonna really go ahead with the threats or it's just all talk. But
well, the boy is a small boy. Is he 30 years old?
Yeah, 30-something years old. I fear
he's so young. I'm older than him.
So this is where the immaturity comes in, and you never know.
I remember
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, things that his dad probably would have been a little bit more careful. He probably wouldn't. they call it the youthful exuberance.
Well, but I will expect that he's not just there alone. He doesn't pull the levers or the trigger for any nuclear arsenal or attack. So obviously he will give the order. It's up to the generals to carry out that order. Yeah. So the generals who have been in the system, they know that if they mess around, they are all going to be annihilated. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's unthinkable to say that North Korea will be able to stand the firepower of America or anyone. It's just that maybe...
that's the thing. Maybe you never know. They've been trying all sorts of weapons that you never know.
No, one thing is very clear when it comes to things like ground war, okay? So nuclear weaponry is the last resort.
Yeah. Something
that you wouldn't want to use because the consequences are so devastating that it can even affect you yourself.
Yeah.
All right. And when you look at the Korean Peninsula, North Korea and South Korea, they are just one people. It's just a border sharing them, dividing them. So in effect, there are a lot of South Koreans who have got relations in the north.
The north, yeah.
And when you look at, they have a place called the demilitarized zone, where you have so many American troops over there, Japanese and South Korean troops. There are about 30,000 American troops in that area alone. So, and it's a border. So if there should be a war breaking out now, unless you decide that you're going to wipe the whole of North Korea, of Pyongyang and its arsenal military might, they have over 1 million standing army. I think they are probably, if I'm not afraid, I'll say they have the largest army in the world. So if 1 million people are marching towards you, how many can you kill? Do you understand that you will kill them?
I think I don't know the mentality that they have. So it seems that they are always ever ready to go to war if needed.
Yeah, everyone is military trained, no messing about. That's what they've been used to. So there's no difference. They don't know anything else apart from that, and they don't care. They are ready to die. So that is the danger there. You who count.
Oh no, come on.
That will go Ubasa. Also Basa room. All die be die.
All die be die.
My brother.
Some of them, if you can avoid it, then you shouldn't.
All die be die. You want a beautiful death. All right, my brother. Let's come back to home. Let's come back home. Let's come. As for Brexit, I don't want to talk about Brexit because they are just wasting our time. The deal is they just go and then negotiate the thing and come back and then tell us where we stand. All they do is just talking this, that. They haven't got a clue, no plan. Let's wait for them. Anyway, opposition to mandatory toll levy, is it justified? Is this justified? What is this mandatory toll levy you're talking about?
Well, I'm sure you've heard about the past few weeks or so. Initially, I think almost 2 months ago, we had a proposal, a contract was already signed under the NDC government.
Yeah.
And then its implementation was supposed to start last month, in July.
Yeah.
And then there was an uproar, proper opposition to it, because the contract itself so appalling. It wasn't best for Ghana. You know, if you look at it, the contract itself, this is where majority of people have an issue with. It's just to do with giving one person the contract. I mean, I don't think, if you look at the narrative, I don't think many people are against the toll itself. I mean, it's important that we do it, but how we do it is where the issue that they have.
Okay, is. I have issues with the fact that the contract is, like you're saying, is just one person monopoly and all that. That is an issue that we need to deal with. But the other thing too that I find it quite strange is why do if I understand clearly, every car user will have to pay a fee for towing.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah.
No, clearly, for what purpose?
So I think that's why a lot
I
of
still
people
don't understand. For what purpose? That means I have to pay a toll because for what?
Well, so that if your car somehow breaks down, then it could be towed away easily.
No, so
minimum cost.
At no cost.
At no cost, yeah. If you pay for the levy.
If I pay the levy,
it's a one-off payment for a year.
So when my car breaks down,
and then
it will be towed away.
Yeah,
but I think the craziest part of it is it is a few selected streets or roads where these tolls are going to apply.
Yeah.
So for them to generalize and all the drivers paying this fee, to me, it's crazy. It doesn't make sense.
This is why should I pay that? The way the contract.
Don't we have
the way the contract is couched? This is where people have an issue with, because if you read through the contract, per the way they were saying, if everybody's supposed to be paying the levy, then it means it has to be nationwide. It has to be everywhere. But then if you couch a contract and then you made it look like selected portions or selected part of the country are going to enjoy it, and then you are supposed to be charging everybody, that doesn't make any sense.
Listeners, you are tuning into Crossfire on Africanna Radio. I would like to remind you that Crossfire is being broadcast live on Africanna Radio Ghana as well. So our listeners in Ghana, you can tune into Crossfire and listen to Africanna Radio Ghana, and you will catch us live from that place as well. Our studio lines are open. The number to call is 0122 3926 804. 0122 3926 804. You can also send a text or call the WhatsApp line on 07473 865 402. 07473 865 402. We are broadcasting live on Facebook as well. So you go to Africanna Radio Facebook, Dom Fair. I've shared it on my wall, Mike Jones, and Richard has also shared as well. So you can follow us there as well and send through your comments. You can also share if you want your friends to join in. All right. You see, my brother, my point is that let's go behind the reason for the toll. Why do we need the toll?
Okay.
Why?
If you want to look at it from just why we need a toll, and then take away the contracts aspect, which has a lot of opposition to it, then that is fine. We need a toll because a lot of road accidents have occurred as a result of stationary vehicles. Cars bumping into stationary vehicles and killing a lot of people.
Broken down vehicles.
Why is it so?
Yeah, because what happens?
In fact, we cannot underestimate that. It is a major cause of most of the road accidents in Ghana. Don't underestimate at all.
That broken down vehicles.
Yeah. You see,
so a road is broken down. Wait a minute. You see, I'm trying to see the a vehicle is broken down. As the vehicle is broken down, how long will it take the toll company to come over and pick it up to prevent an accident? Whereas, so if a vehicle breaks down, what do you have to do? Are there no rules?
Some drivers leave this vehicle for weeks.
Not some drivers. Mike, this is Ghana. Let's be realistic.
So my point is, if I see a vehicle that has been broken down, who will notify the toll company? Assuming this deal goes through, who will notify the toll company that this vehicle is broken down?
What I understand is they're going to dispatch some motor riders to plan on all these roads. Reporting or telephone, to the control room, alerting them of where these vehicles are parked. These broken vehicles are parked. It makes sense as long as it's going to be done in a very efficient way. It makes sense to me because we have people on the road reporting what is going on the roads. If that is going to be effective, that's fine. But in Ghana,
so all you need to do, my brother, is to tell people that every vehicle must have AA. what do you call it, AA, some form of AA or part of insurance.
Some are even okay talking about insurance companies adding that charges
on their insurance, on top of the insurance.
It makes sense.
So if I don't have a car, you do your insurance is there, but don't saddle this to government. This is a private business altogether. Yeah. Government shouldn't get involved in this.
That's what I'm saying. This is where the opposition is. This is it. But the bottom line is we need to have a broken down vehicles towed away. But we need to sit down and think about how we do it.
Why do vehicles get broken down on the road? One, because the roads, they don't have any demarcations for car parking. All right? All the motorways you see, there's no spaces for where people can park their cars. They do roads anyhow. Two, if a vehicle is broken down, there are police forces in the country. That is what they should be doing. They should be going around towing those vehicles away. The district assemblies should be towing those vehicles away, putting them somewhere, and then telling the person that I have towed your vehicle away. So come and pay for money. Come and pay money and do what? Take it. Because where your vehicle is parked, it is wrong. Whether it is broken down
you're saying
or not.
The law says that.
So why are they not doing that?
Broken down for a period of time, and it's supposed to be towed away, and then you have to pay to get. But the problem, Mike, the problem we have at the moment is insufficient towing vehicles that we have at the moment to tow them away. So that's the reason why sometimes.
So give a contract to Zoom Lion and say, look, I want you to import towing vehicles, and then when any vehicle that you tow, the fine is how much? 200 million or 200, say 1 million or 100 Ghana cedis. I'll give you 50%. You give me 50%. That is it. Do you get a point? I give you 50%, you give me 50%. The matter is gone. No problem. But to couch a whole contract and then give someone 20-year contract and 85% here and all lot of things.
This is where we
both agree. They decentralize it in such a way that all the district assemblies will benefit. This is something that this 1 million constituency. Okay. Every constituency 1 million. How many constituencies do we have? 275. How many districts do we have? We have about 216 districts, right?
Yeah.
So some districts will even get about 4 million. They can mobilize resources with this money, okay, and then get contractors, individuals, to buy their own towing vehicles and then do this business. So when the assemblyman is walking on the street with his motor and he sees that a car is broken down, it's causing a hazard.
Yes.
All they do is that they just call the tow company that, oh, we have a vehicle here, come and take it away. If you, the vehicle owner, you are sitting in there, will ask you, why are you parked there? They'll move your car. If you can't move it, we are towing it away. Is this a big deal? My brother, Leighton, there is a parking, residential parking. My vehicle will not start in the morning. I parked there, but I didn't have a residential permit. Okay? I did not have a residential permit. So, for that reason, what I had to do, I have to move it every morning away from that area to a place where I can park without permit. I started the car will not start. Okay? Now, I had to go to work. I couldn't do anything. So I left it there, took the gamble. When I came, there was a ticket on the car.
Did you write you didn't write any notice on the car?
Whatever notice, I wrote a notice says this doesn't matter. I appealed, it didn't work. The car is broken down, you get a mechanic to deal with it. Nothing.
Now, I think at some point, if the car is broken down and you can prove, you write the notes on the car, and yes, and and then you can prove to them that the car is broken down or was broken down.
So if the car is broken down,
sometimes they even open the bonnet or
when the car is broken. If you get an accident on the motorway and your car is broken down, you call the police or you call the AA.
That's right.
You call your insurance. So your insurance can organize what do you call it? What's the name of it?
The towing car.
They have a name. Not AA is just the company, but they have a name. Relay or roadside assistance. And they'll come and take the vehicle away. I mean, they can come here and learn the system and then copy similar thing there, instead of just lumping this to one person. And then when it fails monumentally. Because if it doesn't work out, okay, if it doesn't work out,
I mean,
you can imagine what will happen. The whole deal goes pear-shaped.
Yeah.
And this company they gave to is a company that was involved in all these dodgy deals under the previous government. So why do you do that again?
No, you see, they haven't given a contract to that company. The contract is already there.
The contract is there where? So who was trying to implement it?
It was signed, but no one tried to implement it.
It has been signed by the previous government.
Yeah, it was signed.
So what's the hue and cry about it then?
Well, somehow it's either you choose to continue with the contract or you choose not to.
And so what is this current government doing?
If you do not, they haven't. I don't think they've come up with a clear decision yet.
So why are we talking about it?
We're talking about it because there's a potential that they probably might.
My brother, just hit the point clearly and let's go there. You see, there is no two ways about it. If they don't want to do it, they abandon it. Simple. So it could have been one of the cases where they will come out and say, oh, you know what? When we came in, this is what we found, but we are not going to implement it. Yeah. They can change it straight away. You know, instead of just making this a big deal. Great. I have Stephen calling. I have answered your call, Stephen. I hope.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Good evening, Steve. How are you?
Yeah. Good evening. I'm good.
Nice one. Long time.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah. I was away on a conference I think a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And then last week you were not online. So.
Yes, it's true. Last week we couldn't come. I hope everything went well for you on the conference.
Yeah. Yes, it really went well.
Nice one. Yes. So we started not long ago. Tonight we were late and we are still on this toll levy business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Toll levy. Government trying to impose toll levy on everyone. I don't know if you agree with it. I know it's been exhausted in the media in Ghana. The government has come out to say that they haven't taken a decision on it yet. But then I still can't understand why it became an issue if they haven't taken a decision on it. Why do we have the contract details out and then people making noise about it? You know?
It's one of the mistakes that the government of the day has just allowed itself to be doing.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the information regarding how they said about it, the contract was signed somewhere in 2012.
Okay.
Like the whole thing started somewhere in 2012. And then the actual contract was signed last year, somewhere in October.
All right.
The company to be who and then there's a company on that they will know on line. Yeah. He's going to be working on it. If that has been done, since 24, NDC couldn't implement it. The law was 2024. NDC implemented the beginning of 2015. And the plan was to implement it this year. If the new government will come, you have to basically study the whole thing.
Yeah.
And from the look of things, there's something that people don't have much information on. So with the new government, you can't just come and just want to just implement the thing. You need to hold on to the issues, do a proper study of both things, consult stakeholders. And then if there are any issues in the law that need to amend it before it's out there. But I don't, as you said, don't see the need for this noise that has come out because of this.
Yeah.
simple law about towing. Everybody knows towing cars in Ghana is that one. Nobody speaks against that. How you want to go up is the issue. For me, I don't really like the idea of everybody should be paying money for it. Because they are saying that even the towing aspect of it is going to be done on the highway. So if all people owning cars in Ghana are going to be paying the levy, then we don't have anything to do on the highway. Break most of your house, you break down on any minor road. Nobody cares about you. You have to face it yourself. The money has been taken away. So what is the sense?
It's baffling. It's baffling.
Yeah, I just don't get it how they are saying that
it's baffling.
Everybody should pay, and then they are trying to talk about it like it's like health insurance that somebody will pay, somebody will. This is not about health insurance.
This is at all. It has nothing to because it isn't everyone who has a car.
That's the reason why there was a massive opposition to it. This is
and secondly,
it will not be.
It isn't everyone's car who to break that will break down on the street or so.
Yeah, you are going to tow cars on the highway. And there are people who are really always on the highway.
No, I think the best way to go about this is to encourage the private sector to go into this business, because that's another opportunity to make money in the system. So private businesses to form companies and then go in and then do that.
To me, the best way to go about it. How many regions do we have in Ghana? We have 10. So you have about different companies doing it in each region. So for instance, you can have one company doing for all of Greater Accra, the next one doing for all of Eastern, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So that at the end of the day, if one company is not performing well, then we know which region is not really working, and then we know which company to hold.
You see, the whole thing is capital intensive. So, say getting those towing vehicles is another big business. That would you have companies in all the 10 regions that will have the capacity to get this towing? But hey, that is why Dr. Baumia went to China and negotiated how much loan was that? $15 billion loan. So grant. No, it's not a grant. It's a facility.
Facility. Yeah.
Okay. There. So you form a company, come together, put up a proper business plan, and say, this is what I want to do. Go and get a loan, buy the vehicles, the towing vehicles, and then start using them. Then the government grants this, so they can even be done at the district levels.
Yeah.
Mike,
the district assemblies can do that.
Mike, I don't think the problem is with the company who is going to be in charge of it. It's about how they want everyone who is a car in Ghana to be paying money.
Yeah, but that is exactly what we're saying, that is wrong. So when they do that, if an individual company is doing it, then it becomes competitive.
If we talk about Steve, if we go by your angle, then you know the national health insurance. That's exactly how it started. Everybody paying something small towards it, and then it covering everyone.
You see, health. We all understand that health is a different matter altogether. Okay, we are all born into this world, so even at birth we need hospitals, we need some health care, and during death, in time of sickness and all that. Now when it comes to vehicle business and all that, you just put out a framework, policy framework, a law that every vehicle, if you want to put it that way, every vehicle must have what do you call it, a relay policy. So the insurance companies can add that to it, and then all these towing companies can set up privately and go into business with the insurance companies and say, look,
okay, I mean, I agree with you on that. That's the best option.
If your car breaks down, now if I find your car on the street, it is the duty of the police to hire one of these insurance companies to say, come and take this car away. You take it away. If the guy doesn't come to pay the money for towing, if he has insurance will cover. If he hasn't got insurance,
I totally agree.
This is very simple.
It's the same thing that Steve and I had a discussion about.
This is very simple.
Both agreed on.
But someone will sit somewhere and make things so complicated. My brother, I was going through the contract. one gentleman was so kind enough to, I need to acknowledge him. He's a very smart cookie. His name is, goodness me. What's going on? Something is going wrong with my memory today. Bright Simmons. He put up a Facebook post with all the details, line by line, about 34 or 36 issues itemized, and it was very clear. And you see that it doesn't make sense. The complications around the contract, the way it has been couched, the language, and it makes no sense. All you need is just a simple policy framework and a law backing it. Just like we have insurance policy in Ghana. You say, hey, you want to have a car, make sure that you have your insurance must include towing. Okay.
Yeah. Someone asked me a thing. It's a very simple thing. At least we've got certain basic laws which are working as far as the running a vehicle in Ghana is concerned.
You just play like that.
You need to have your license, you need to have your road worthy, you need to have your insurance. These are basic things. So if you want to bring this towing issue, it's so simple. Just pass the law that you've got these towing companies. You either go to them straight, or you go to your insurance company. And then you give a certain period that may be in the next 3 months, from maybe say ending or beginning November. Every car on Ghana road, the police are not just checking road ready and stuff. They are checking also whether you have towing license.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. So if how you are paying to the company, nobody cares.
My brother, as for me, I'm not worried about towing licenses. In fact, it shouldn't be compulsory, but I can concede that.
They are not saying, it's not saying that it's going to be compulsory, but the fact is that at least be able to show that if your car breaks down.
Steve. Okay, Steve, we need to go for a quick commercial break.
Advert, yeah, we need to do a quick advert. 1 second. Open Door Ministry International UK presents Summer Worship and Miracle Service, and it's the Power Worship, and it's happening on the 20th of August 2017 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Reverend host is Reverend James and Doris Ajimandia, and then we also have Reverend Percy and Lady Edna Hagan. So I'll take it one more time. Open Door Ministry International UK presents Summer Worship and Miracle Service, and it's the Power Worship. It's taking place on the 20th of August 2017 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. The host pastors are Reverend James and Doris Ajimandia, and then we also have Pastor or Reverend Percy, and then Lady Edna Hagan as some guest speakers. Yeah, I think.
When is this taking place?
Oh, sorry, and it's taking place. It's
August. Yeah.
It is taking place in Norbury Manor School, Abingdon Road, SW16 5QR. I take it again. Norbury Manor School, Abingdon Road, SW16 5QR.
All right. Great. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah. So as I was saying, it's a very simple issue. The policy is in place now. Now, if you have a car, you can buy it up front, or if you don't buy it up front, as soon as it breaks down, you call the towing company wherever you are.
That's it. They charge you accordingly.
Yeah. If you don't pay, the police will go and okay. They have a parking place. They put it there. When you go for your car, you are going to pay for the parking where they have parked the car for you, and then that safety security that they provided for the car. Pay all that and then pay the towing aspect of it. If you go through such process 2 times and you pay so much money, you think about either buying it up or not doing it.
That is it.
It shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, and Steve, not to cut you off, but the funny thing, you see what we've just discussed, to me, this is the best solution out of the whole thing. And you can, if you don't have the enough police force, you can employ people solely to do this one.
Yeah.
So
and another job creation.
A job is created, by all means. It's like what we used to say when growing up. You know the story of the hawk and the chicken. Yeah, the hawk. If you don't want to pay through the usual one, you have your car towed. You go through the one where you pay a lot more.
Yeah,
simple.
Pay a lot more.
Because, I mean,
so this was one of the create, loot, and share contracts that was
the contracts. If you look at it critically, is really bad. The way the contract was made and all that. I think that's the reason why a lot of people are in opposition to it. I don't think many people are opposed to having vehicles towed off the road because they know people don't have to say that.
Let me tell you something. You see, it all comes back to this issue of lawlessness that we have. Now, every vehicle ideally must have some form of identification in the vehicle. So if you break down on the street, it's only fair that you put this sign out there so that when someone is coming, they will know that there is a hazard ahead of you. But here we are, Ghanaian drivers, they like speeding. 70 miles per hour, he will be doing 140 miles. No checks.
What do you have?
So if you do that, who are you trying to deceive? So whether you put up there is a broken vehicle or not, the person is going to speed. Now, if the vehicles break down and they are waiting for a tow lorry to come and tow it away, okay? From the time the vehicle broke down until this tow vehicle comes around, anything can happen, by the way. So in a sense, the whole idea, yes, if the vehicle stays there for say 2 days, 3 days, then the risk increases. But even the risk can still be there for the first say 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours as we wait for the tow vehicle to come. And it all goes down to lawlessness because someone has refused to enforce the law. When you start enforcing the law, somebody will come and tell, oh, he's my uncle. Oh, no, you are ungrateful. Oh, you are this. Oh, you are this. Okay? Somebody accused Charlotte Osei, the lawyer who wrote the petition, the first petition against Charlotte Osei, that this lawyer went to school with Charlotte Osei, her parents supported him, so ungrateful and all that. And coming from what has this got to do with?
I was shocked when I read that.
This is the mindset we have with issues. Follow procedures. Now what? Over here you go, they look, the whole of Hackney, they put it was 30. Now most parts of London is now 20 miles per hour. You mess around, just even one, you will get a ticket. And when you get a ticket, you can choose to pay it or choose not to. No one cares. If you don't, one day your system will be picked up, your details will be picked up in the system, and before you realize you are out of a license, you can't even drive again. And that will affect you in the long run. We don't do this. We just relax and think, oh, everything is okay. Just slap anything on people to pay because that's the only way. It's not going to cure the problem. Allow the private sector to do their agenda. You enforce the law. When someone leaves their car there, police says, even a passerby, passengers can just call an insurance company and say, look, a vehicle is broken down here. It's a hazard. Can you get your tow vehicles to come and take it away now, please? They come and take the vehicle away. That vehicle is money.
Not even that. The passerby,
it's money.
The passerby can even phone a dedicated police number where they can report broken down vehicles, which has been
This is a civic responsibility.
The police will come in and tow it
away.
And then have the owner pay some money for it.
But here, when they tow your vehicle, if you park on the wrong street and they tow your vehicle away, they take it to a yard. They give you time to come and get it.
You don't go there.
My vehicle has been taken so many times. Look, one day I came at the vehicle, I thought it was stolen. So I called the police, they gave me a number. They say, Trace, call this number first, and if it's not there, then call us back for us to chase it for you. I called the number and they say, oh, yeah, we'll take it. Because I said, what? You were parked on a double yellow light. I said, really? They took the car away. And then my next door neighbor came and said, yeah, I was knocking your door, but you didn't listen. My brother had gone to work in the night and I come back. I just parked the car. It was a Sunday. Not knowing part of my wheel was on the double yellow line. And I was fast asleep. So this gentleman neighbor knocked the door. I didn't hear. They took the car away.
You know the lesson learned.
Thank you.
Next time when you're parking your car, regardless of how tired you are, you
make sure that I don't park on the yellow line. Lost work.
I remember
back in the bay. The
first time I got to a ticket, parking ticket was on a Sunday. Normally, I thought in the neighborhood I used to live in, they don't come in, the traffic warden don't come in on Sundays to do a check. But then on that particular day when I came, I actually parked on the yellow line, but I've been doing that for a while and nothing happened. And then I was shocked when I found the sticker, the yellow sticker on there, and I'm like, why? And then I checked, and I knew that I parked on the yellow line. And I thought, okay, Sundays they don't go around, so it's okay. But then when they go around, they check for illegal parkings, i.e. yellow lines and so on.
Yeah.
That taught me a lesson, because one thing I hate paying for is stupid money, I call it. Giving money like that, wasting money like that.
So you were fortunate your car was not towed. Yeah. I said I paid £250.
Oh, I paid
to get the car back.
I paid £35. Yeah, it would have been 70 if I'd left it for 2 weeks. But the lesson learned was never ever. I would never park on the yellow line again.
I think let's explain something to our fellow Ghanaians. The reason why we are giving examples from this country, we know that UK is way advanced than Ghana. There is a proper data system for everyone. So as long as you have a vehicle, we know who owns that vehicle and everything. In Ghana, it might not be the same. But still, there are certain things basic things that we can do. I don't think it is beyond the capabilities of the Ghanaian government, the police force, the district assemblies, to say that if a vehicle breaks down on the road, call this number, police will take a tow vehicle, go and do what? Take it off the road, and then let that vehicle owner come to the police headquarters and find their vehicle, or wherever the nearest police station find their vehicle. This shouldn't be a problem at all. Okay, you can't leave your abandoned vehicle and then just disappear and say my vehicle is broken down, so I'm gone home. You leave it there, you call police, and police will come and take it away that day. That is what they should be doing. Okay.
Sometimes it's not like you are just going to leave the car or whatever and go somewhere. Sometimes you stay there for weeks.
Yeah, so that way, that is even what I call yencheni for government. Government picks it, they get a vehicle, free vehicle. You say your vehicle is missing, we know designated places where vehicles are missing. We have a hotline. Call this number. They check, oh yeah, your vehicle is here. It's parked at this place. Do you want to go and pay? This is the bill. Come and pay for it and take it because you left it on the road. We don't want any vehicle on the road. This is very simple. District assemblies should be doing that.
If they decide to do it, they do it 1 week, 2 weeks, and people see that this time, if your car breaks down, you don't go for it, it will be taken away.
My brother, the system, it will sort itself.
Yeah.
But we sit there and then try and create money for one person because some politicians somewhere will also, and public servants will also make their money. Yet they've all lived in this country, they know how things work. And they can make it even simpler over there without creating any problem. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. We have given them our view. A very simple one. We don't need to review the contract. They should just abandon it and give it to the district assemblies. 1 million one constituency is enough for the district to use part of it to create a space where they will be towing abandoned vehicles, park them. After 50 days, if you don't come for your vehicle, what do? We auction it. Do you get a point? Yeah. It's auctioned. That's all. We auction. It's the same way at Temahabo. Yeah. You bring your car and you don't pay your duty. What do? They quarantine the car. After some days, they call something called there's a term they call demurrage. Yeah. I like that demurrage. If you don't pay that, that's it. Your vehicle is gone. The next time you will see some minister riding your car, your nice Lexus in town, and you'll be crying. Okay, Galamsey. I hear this task force is now banning some vehicles. No, the excavators.
Yeah.
Hey, Ghana. Because people said they are not using common sense.
Are they banning the excavators?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they've banned about 4 or so.
Yeah.
Because this excavator banning was done during NDP time and we spoke against it. So why are they repeating it? can the government see these excavators and make good use of it in some of the villages that need some of these equipment to do some help with their road construction and digging and all those things.
And even covering up the pit that has been dug.
Yeah, why do we mend it?
You know, you see, there are two schools of thoughts here. To me, I'm going to lay both down and then I will tell you what I think. The first one thinks, you know, if you were to seize the excavators and then take them somewhere, the excavators, one way or the other, will find their way back.
That is corruption.
I know.
Someone not doing their work well.
So that is what's been happening in the past. So this is the reason why people were not scared of you know, going out there living the excavator, because they know once you seize it, they'll pay somebody some money and get it back, regardless. So the option is whether do we want it to go that way, where there's a possibility that it will come back. But I think that is absolute nonsense. That kind of thinking is rubbish, because if the government are serious about it, all that you need to do is to keep an inventory of all those that you've. Do
you know why? Let me quickly come in here with something different, but similar to what you're talking about. These presidential vehicles, when they came in and they were saying that presidential vehicles are missing, vehicles are missing, I was fuming in my head, but I think I didn't make any pronouncement, any comment about it around that time. Okay? It's unthinkable to tell me that a vehicle is missing. When someone is supposed to be holding inventory of all the vehicles. So who do you hold responsible? What do you do? Why don't you set an example? We are always scared to take, you know, crack the whip. Let's make people know that they have a job to do. So this is what they're supposed to do, and they didn't do it.
You know,
yes,
I was.
You know what? There are certain things when you hear Ghana politicians say or ask or say anything about it. For me, I see that pure stupidity. Yes, because cars are not like needles. They are not like office keys. That you say that, oh, we were playing in the sun and it dropped and you can't find it. All these cars have got their registration numbers, they got charges numbers, they got everything, all the details, especially even individuals. When they have somebody who owns about 10 cars, that person is able to trace where all these cars are, even if the cars are driven by different drivers.
Because he knows the names of the drivers.
Yes, he knows the names. So actually the whole government. That you say that you bought these many cars, they all live, you have a garage for all of them. There's somebody who is in charge of all of them, and one day you come back and say that we can't find. Let
me tell you. Let me give you a very simple example that this government should have taken when they came to power. They start with the ministers. There were about say 50 or 60 or 70 ministers under NDC. They all had cars. So where are your cars? You say you handed over your car. Okay. Well, yes, you're handing over. No. Where did you put the car? Where did you leave it? Who did you give the key to? Oh, I gave the key to the transport department. Who? Show us. You mentioned the person's name. Did he sign for it? You will. Let me come. I'm making a point. He signed for it. Who signed for it? This person. Where is that person? You go for that person straight away. What is the car that the minister gave you? Go and show me. This is a very simple thing. If the guy is not able to show you the car and say, here is the car, I parked it here, but it's not there. How is it not there? That person is in trouble. Do you get what I mean? That person is in trouble. You put him to court that he has lost the car. You give him time to prove the car.
Mike, when you
and if he doesn't,
Mike, when you live in a country where on a live TV at the Public Accounts Committee, someone sits there and causes makes outrageous reasons as to why he couldn't perform certain tasks, and he starts giggling and laughing about it like nobody's business. Everybody's watching the guy live, and he's not even scared. And you are thinking about some policeman seizing somebody. Yeah, and you are thinking about a policeman seizing somebody's vehicle somewhere where there's nobody else watching. What are we talking about? Yeah, to me, We still have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
in as much as we want the laws to work, the mindset needs to change.
You cannot be a serious person that you use state money to buy car for a group of people to work with when they finish, and then all of them will come and say that we can't find the car.
Yeah.
And then we are happy and we sit on radio and make noise about it. Our cars like things that have dropped in the sand and we can't find them. What kind of human beings are we? So sometimes some of the things you just don't want to even listen to them. Because if the NPP are serious about it, they will find every car. Those that have been sold, hello?
Yeah, I'm there. We are here.
Yeah,
we are here.
Those that have been sold to the government appointees, they will get to know that fine, these ones were sold to them because these ones are here, these ones are. Then they know who was using what. I don't think the cars were just parked anywhere and then people just take the keys, go and drive it. When they finish, they drop it. And even these car rentals, they are able to trace all their cars. How much more a whole government machinery say that you can't find your cars and you are making noise on the radio, people are talking, calling in and making noise, these people are thieves. Those who can't even find the cars are also thieves.
It's true. I agree with you.
If they are not a thief,
that is why you were voted into power.
Yes. They also thieves.
You have all the power at your disposal.
They've also got the same mindset that when they finish, they also take cars away.
That's it.
If not, how can you tell me that you can't find a car? It's car in it. So you know, obviously that has dropped in the sea.
And so coming back to this issue of excavators, there is no need to ban excavators.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All you need to do is to take the excavators away if you have their resources. Now the problem is that I'm thinking that maybe when the task force got in there, they saw the excavators. If they leave without doing anything about the excavators will still be working. So they have to do something. Now, this is where you need what we call pre-planning.
Yeah.
Okay? You know very well that these Galamsey people, they are not just doing Galamsey with bare hands. Yeah. They are doing it with equipment. So if you are going in to stop them, once you are arresting people, you should be taking care of the equipment. How do you do that? You should have planned for this before going in. If it's difficult to cart these excavators out of the village, all you need to do is to ask the guy, how did the excavator get there in the first place? Mas a Ghana soldier man put you on a car and say drive out, you say you won't drive. Do you get the point? Yeah. It's a very simple thing. Ask the guy to drive the excavator away. And then you sit on top of the excavator and he will drive it all the way out of the place to where you want the excavator to go. District Assembly, you lock it up. Whoever is there, you call the district chief executive or his logistic man and say, okay, this is under your care. Look after it. If anything is missing, you go to jail. Trust me, they won't mess around. Or you even hire some other police officers to guard it if you think it is so important. But we just go on and then behave in a way that, like, so at the end of the day, the good thing that they were set up to do is now being, mad in this controversy of banning, what do you call it? The excavators. People are now, and I hear someone was even shot and killed. I don't know whether that was in self-defense or
it was for the story it was self-defense because they shot back at the military. And then,
people are saying that because that other guy was killed in the job, so the projects have this issue in their mind to deal with people who are in Galamsey. You can't put any interpretation to it, but at the end of the day, somebody has been killed.
Yeah.
Well, the question that we need to ask ourselves: did they shoot back at the soldiers? They did.
No, when the report that the soldiers are saying, they say that those guys were shooting at them.
Yeah.
They shot in.
Yeah.
But on a lighter note too, not on a serious note, Ghanaians are very stubborn. Yeah. There was a warning out there that no more Galamsey. Stop it. Okay? So stop it. Yes, it is your livelihood, but unfortunately, they say stop it. You can't do it. That is the law.
Yeah.
You can't do it, so stop it. So if you don't stop it and you are caught, the law will deal with you.
Mike, do you know the lawlessness in Ghana? I'll put much of the blame on the politicians. A lot of the lawlessness in the country is because of politicians.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, one politician will go and stand somewhere and be backing some group of people. Oh, don't mind them because they are not from this area. That is why they are saying all these things with you. Whilst you, the politicians, some of them are even parliamentarians. They go and sit there, they don't even talk. And the laws are passed. But when it comes to implementation of the law, then you go back to the village and say, oh, don't mind them. So at the end of the day, the very people who should know better are the ones who are just encouraging the less privileged to prove. If all these politicians are the ones, if you go during election, all this noise and tension in the system, who creates them? It's not these non-entities. Who are them? All that they need is to get some appeal to drink, and that's it. And these politicians who give them appeal to drink, and they will make the messing around and doing all these nonsense. These calamity issues. Last time we were saying, was it Gokuba? Say that there are really big people in Ghana
who
are behind them.
Yeah.
Big people are sponsoring them to do those things. And a lot of them, their campaign funds are all from those campaigns.
Yeah. Okay. But right now, we all agree that it's a menace that is causing havoc in the country.
Yes.
We need to stop it. So whether you are a big man, you are a small man, your money is in campaign funds or whatever it is, hey, the campaign is over. Whether you like it or not, we all agree that we don't want any more galamsey. No one is saying that you can't buy.
This is why you have to, one way or the other, you have to commend the Akufo-Addo government for taking a bold step. Because today I watched a supposed financier or supposed big man at Akwatia MPP, a stronghold in Akwatia in the Eastern region. He was crying, you know, that his excavator, two of them. There was a video of them being bent.
Wow,
he said it was not his own one. He hired it from someone. And what do they expect him to do? Look at the mindset. What do they expect him to do? Do they want him to go out there and start stealing? He's not thinking about
the consequences
of his action, what he's been doing, and the warnings, the prior warning that's been given. He was there watching the task force being set up. Did he think the task force was just like people were joking, or they were just not serious or what? You sit down, you think you are. This is what sometimes this is what
I was saying.
Gets to
you see, but
this so-called
it is the mindset of the black man, you know. It's not.
The mindset of the black man is that when the thing is to his benefit, he doesn't care about any other person. It
is the mindset of the black man. This is something that we need to deal with as a people, because until I keep saying that all our problems, even when you look at blacks in this country, when the police stop a black man, look at the way we behave. Look at the way we behave. The police has a right to stop you. Yes, we know they take advantage and they stop black people unnecessarily. But still, if they stop you and you just be quiet, you don't start throwing yourself about and then allow them to ask you the questions they want to ask you, my brother, they will ask you your questions and you will move on. I have been stopped by police so many times. They didn't molest me. They asked me this, they asked me that. I move on. Okay? But the moment you start, you know, showing off, making unnecessary, challenging unnecessarily, then you become suspicious. Because why are you challenging? Have you got something that we need to be aware of? That is why you are trying to put up this strong defense. When we are only questioning you. We have every right to do so. Whether we are picking on you or not, you stand out so we can question you. It doesn't matter. We need to understand these things. Simple obeying rules and regulations, it makes your life easier. The moment you don't do that, the person who is trying to enforce that rule becomes the bad person. He is rather in the wrong. I really don't get it. And the number one rule, go ahead, Steve.
The other problem we have is that all the time when we see a particular law at work somewhere, you say, these people are very good. They are very civilized.
Yes.
Things work well in there. When we bring that same thing into our society or into our system, then we start kicking against it. But if you decide not to obey that particular law, how do you expect your society or community to flourish or to be law-abiding? So our mindset is rubbish. We just want to always do things in our own way and expect a better result, which will not work.
And when you talk, they'll tell you that this is Ghana, this is Ghana, this is how we do things in Ghana.
This calamity that we are talking about. If you look at it, recently people are saying, oh, now all the water bodies, you can see that things that they are clearing up. But before they started this issue about stopping it, people were just saying, oh, all our rivers are dying, we can't get water to drink. Now, the past 4 or 5 months, we are seeing that things are really improving and we are all happy. But it needed the government of the day to stand up to say that no matter what, we are going to fight it. So all the people in Ghana should just look into that. It's for our livelihood. If he stops this, there is no way that if they destroy water bodies in the whole Ghana, he will drink dirty water. Even if it's left with the last dime of Ghana, he's the president, he will go and use that money to buy water for him to drink. You, the local people in the villages, to drink that dirty water and die. That's one of the facts. If we don't have any money at all, the president will always be giving what he needs. So when there are certain policies and certain laws are in place, it's the local people who should look into it and make sure that the right aspect of the laws are promulgated for the benefit of us. So if we don't support the government of the day to do the right thing, and then we always want to kick against, oh, this is our livelihood, we don't get anything to eat, and the guarantee that we are doing here, we want to stop us. We should stop you because at the end of the day, in the long run, we are not going to have any livelihood out of it. It's just today that we are looking at. We are not looking into the future. So for me, I support the government of the day. If there's anything that they have to do, at least to spare the environment, protect the life, and everything.
I think the greatest, you see,
burning of the excavated. I don't support that.
The greatest legacy, Steve, I think the greatest legacy that the Akufo-Addo administration can leave for Ghana, which I believe will surpass everything, is to ensure and instill discipline, law and order in the system.
Yeah.
And then curb this corruption menace. Because if there is law and order, automatically corruption will go down.
Oh, yeah.
Law and order, no fear or favor, whether you are MPP, you are NDC, whether who you are, no matter who you are, even if you are the president's brother. Okay, if he does this, my brother, it will go a long way. I'm just waiting for the day one of these big men in Ghana, who are these top people in Ghana, something will come up about them and then they will be put before the law courts and they will go to jail. Yeah. And people will know that, yes, if you mess around, you will face the full rigors of the law. Because that law and order thing is what is causing all the problems we have in the country.
Yeah.
All our problems.
Mike, Ghana is, if you have heard me talking about it, I say that nobody can tell me that Ghana is poor. And I don't want to buy that idea. It's our own stupidity. It's because we have decided not to obey the simple law. If certain basic laws are in place and they are working, people can see themselves in Ghana without depending on anybody.
Yes.
But because somebody sitting in one office has decided to be doing stupid things, not clearing the system, not making things flow in the system.
Yeah.
That is why a lot of people are suffering in our system. So if the law is working and that person is kicked out, and nobody comes and say that, hey, you came and because it's not in your party.
You see,
in your party and
you wonder why. Have you wondered why things like inflation and interest rates are so high in developing countries like Ghana and then other countries in the world, other developing countries? It's not because they don't manage the economy well. No, it is because of this lawlessness.
Yeah.
But people, these economies that we have, they don't realize that. They really don't get it. It is all because of this lawlessness. Here, because people obey the law, they do the right things. The law works. Inflation is, when they do, the inflation is solely controlled by the fiscal and monetary policy. Yeah. But in Ghana, you put in all the fiscal and monetary policies and it will still not work. Why? Because someone has bought a product, imported something from UK to Ghana, When he got to the port, okay, instead of paying the right duty, he won't pay that. He goes to pay bribes over there. Or even instead of paying the right duty, some custom officer will find some ways and means to swindle money from him. Someone will steal his goods. So for that reason, his cost, okay, of importing those goods have gone so high that he has to increase his prices.
Yeah.
So that was not the original price that he intended to sell the goods for, having calculated that this is what my duty was going to be. But just at the port, there's been a lot of, something unnecessary payment over there. So he has to put that on top of the prices.
Yeah.
So the price will go up. And immediately that price goes up, that is inflation.
Yeah.
Now, if this is a raw material that someone needs to complete a finished good somewhere, that person going to buy that at that astronomical high price will also increase his price. So automatically, you will see that the prices are going up unnecessarily when actually interest rates are down.
Yeah.
Do you get the whole thing? And you will think about it, you don't understand, because he went to the ministry to go and get his paper signed, and then some public official somewhere sitting there saying, I'm not going to sign it, wasting his time, keeping his goods in the warehouse, and that is unnecessary cost. And it's all because of lawlessness. And you will sit in the office and say, oh, economist, I'm trying to control inflation, so all the banks, these are your economic, what do you call it? What does the Bank of Ghana do? They issue their new interest policy guideline. Okay, interest rate policy, and then they will come out with it. And then the economists of finance will also come out with their fiscal discipline and their measures to control inflation. And it will still not work. You ask yourself, why is it not working? Because down there, the lawlessness is going on. And instead of these people being fished out, okay, and then dealt with, prosecuted, they don't do that. Recently, I stumbled upon this Professor Mills video where he went to the Temahabo and cried. When he was talking, I was like, whoa. So a whole president goes to stand there and moan and lament like this, and nothing happened. We didn't hear of anything.
Is it not that time that they just transferred they took all
nothing happened. The way the man was talking, I thought he was going to jail all of them, or nothing. So what was they talking for? This is the mindset.
Has to be taken.
Steve, I think you will like this. The NDC seems to be disintegrating by the day. I don't know if my good friend Ambrose is listening. Let me double check, because I haven't checked the WhatsApp line whether he's joined us, sent a message or not. Okay, I haven't seen any message yet. Ambrose, if you're out there, this is your topic. NDC internal wranglings and its consequences to our democracy. We want you to be strong. We want a vibrant opposition. Haruna, my good friend, he says the opposition must have their say, and the minority must have their say, the majority must have their way. So we want peace in NDC, because if you are not peaceful, you are not strong, you are not stable to check the excesses of the MPP, we will be in trouble. We will come back to square one. They are not perfect. No human being is perfect. That is why we need you. So what is going on? I hear sabos being thrown around.
Yeah.
Someone against Rollins, some against...
I think it all started with that latest, should I say, boom speech again from Rollins.
Rollins, okay.
Saying that all the president from the Fourth Republic, apart from himself, have been corrupt. Kufo was corrupt, Atamis was corrupt, and Mahama was also corrupt. And
comfortably it was corrupt.
You know, sometimes the kind of things that Rollins says, even though he's the founder of his party, he's supposed to be the father figure.
Yes.
You know, and then you say these kind of things, you wash your dirty linens in public, and you label everybody as corrupt apart from yourself, when those that worked with you probably have some secret about you.
What secrets?
I'm saying maybe they might.
You see, it's I don't have an issue with secrets or no secrets. If you think the man is corrupt, deal with him.
Yeah.
Okay? Deal with him. Test the law. People are saying he's under there is this immunity clause. Take him to court and see whether it will be thrown away that this is your evidence. This is what the man did. So we are taking him to court for that reason. And let the Constitution, let them throw it out and say that no, according to our Constitution, you cannot try him.
I think you have 3 years to try them.
It's just say for 10 years that immunity is not for life. But people talk. Rollins is this, Rollins is that. If you have the evidence, take him out there. Now, thank God they say a special prosecutor is coming. So those who think that he is corrupt, they should deal with it.
No, it's not just that. You see, it's to do with the things that he says about the other members of his party. And I think...
well, but he is not in power.
He's not.
So those who are in power, his own party came to power. He wanted them to deal with the Kufuor administration. But they didn't.
To me,
were they able to put a single soul into jail?
To me, I think
they couldn't.
There is a power struggle in the NDC at the moment. There is the Rollins camp, and then there is the John Mohammed's camp. What's happening is there is a possibility that John Mahama might come back again to contest in the 2020 election. And there are those who,
after what he went through,
there are those in the NDC who think that he would do abysmally, considering he lost the first incumbent to lose an election. You know, he lost with 44%. So they don't want him, because it's, you know, especially when you have this corrupt tag hanging on his neck about his dealings and his officials.
Well, for under his watch, clearly there was the bribery scandal over there. The Ford expedition is clear. We saw that. 2, that's Smarty scandal.
Yeah.
That is clear corruption. Jida, Sada. What has happened? Nothing. Wyoming money was paid.
It wasn't under his watch, though.
No, but he came to power. What efforts did he make to retrieve the money? When they tried to put Wyoming to court for criminal offenses, how did they prosecute that? They did that. So
my family said that when he was asked to go and buy the aircraft, he himself, Mahama himself, that man is a thief.
So clearly, if you say he's corrupt, yes, under his watch, he investigated Smarties, and he didn't do anything about it.
He also didn't help during that. You remember the BBC interview, the famous have you given bribe before? As a human being or as a president. So you see that
and this is why I expect this current government to deal with all these issues. These are issues that the current government must deal with and properly to clear the system.
Mike, the current government tells you, even during the midst of press, the president tells you that he's not just going to go.
Oh, my brother, it's not about just telling you. It's not about just. I can see.
He's telling you that there are some that they are ready to prosecute. So you have to just watch and wait and watch, you know, and see what's going to happen.
You want me to wait and watch? Wait. It's just 4 years.
Yes.
Remember, last year everyone will be busy. First year they are busy making money for the economy to run their programs. Last year they'll be busy campaigning to win election again. So you have just 2 years. 2 years. And court cases, you know how long it can drag.
I hope you're aware that these government agencies, the likes of the UOCO, the CID, the BNI, have been really active in the.
Yeah, they have. My good friend Kwabena Donko has already been invited.
Yeah.
I remember when this American scandal came, I advised him that Kwabena Donko, just one year power minister.
Kwabena Donko is one of the most serious.
You listen to this. I advised Kwabena Donko personally on this show. I said, Doctor, you are the power minister.
He is a lecturer.
You promise to resolve do so. If you don't do it, you resign. So there was pressure under you. So you had to find money to buy power for Ghana. As a result of that, you went into a deal. At the time of signing the deal, you didn't realize that there were some shenanigans behind the scene. You just wanted power at all costs because Ghanaians needed power. People were dying. You couldn't afford. Now, you are no more in government. It turns out that someone is saying that, oh, this deal you signed is not right. Even at the time they mentioned it, but you didn't hear. Now, you are not in charge. Okay? So, someone is saying that, hey, the thing you did is not entirely correct. Let's look into it again. What is difficult about it? It's your country. And then instead of coming to say, okay, have a look at you, rather turn around and challenge these people.
Do you think it's as simple as that?
What is simple as that?
A political opponent will just come and say, you know what, I took this decision because I was under pressure, I was under this impression, I've admitted my fault, I caused so financial loss.
No, it's not about causing financial. No, I'm not saying he should admit that he's caused financial loss.
So what was he admitting to them?
No. Cooperating, what have you found that you think is making this deal not the right deal? Because as far as I'm concerned, this was a right deal assigned. Then they point out the things to you. Bright Simmons challenged this man on TV. I watched it. And then the former Deputy Attorney General, Dominic Ayele, he's a law professor and he claims he's the best negotiator, international contract dealer in Ghana. And he sat on TV and said that. And the man said, yes, it is the perfect deal. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Now here we are. And I was saying at the time, there is no problem. It's all for Ghana, Ghana interest. This is what we call the interest of the nation first. So come back to the table and then cooperate with these people. That way, it will make your life easier. So that which you think that someone will hold you for causing financial loss, it will no more be financial loss. It will be like I was hoodwinked because at that time there was pressure. And I think Parliament, CID. You see, I like Ghana CID. I told you, I keep saying that Ghana CID is the best in the whole of West Africa, if not Africa. But I just want them to expedite their dealings. They should court.
Sure.
Then we know what will happen.
I'm sure.
Okay. They need to deal with them. Because the whole thing, look, Bryce Simmons came out with a whole lot of mistakes. I mean, things that were not right with that contract. But I could understand at that time that the Ghanaians were on their throats. Master Dumson was a serious business in Ghana.
That's still no excuse.
No. Wait.
See, no, I can understand the
when
point.
You are in power.
I can understand the point you're making.
Yes.
If, let's say for argument's sake, Kwabena was to admit his mistake, that, oh, if I'd done it this way, I would have saved the nation this amount. I admit I've made a mistake.
So no, you can't use that against him. He can defend that one. Mike Jones, can defend him in court.
How can
that
defend him
if he did not scrutinize, you see, what has made it the matter worse now is that defense, that posture when he came to sit on TV arguing with Bryce Simmons, that, and then the former Deputy Attorney General saying that is the best deal is done. That is where the whole thing, because that will now come back to bite them as evidence. Well, this is what you said.
Right, what I'm
so
saying
if you now come around,
what I'm saying is, even if you admit that you were at fault, and then with hindsight you realize that,
no, it's not I'm at fault. You see, there is something that you can look in when in administration, in management, you can take a management position that might turn out not to be a very good decision.
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have committed a fraud, because your intention at the time of taking that decision was not to cause a fraud or financial loss. For you to be able to prove that someone has caused financial loss to the state, you must be able to prove that they intended doing that. Okay, and the signs were there clearly. They were warned. They ignored all credible advice that this is causing financial loss to the states. Do you get the point? But if you are not able to prove that, you're in trouble. So what I'm saying is that
Mike, are you saying to me that in determining whether or not someone has caused financial loss to the states, one of the things that you put into consideration is the intent of doing that?
Oh yes, Steve.
If that was back later.
Okay. Yeah.
If intent,
all right. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Yeah.
Or intention is to be put as a factor, then I don't think.
No. The intent is there. You see,
because nobody.
There is reckless. When you do it recklessly, that could be considered. But the intent too is also something we have to look at. Because, for instance, I give you a contract. Instead of reading through the contract, you decide not to read through the contract. Okay? So if I ask you, as the government lawyer, you are going to sign, did you read through the contract to understand the implications for everything, the commitment that you are committing this country into? Did you read through it? You said, yes, I read through it. Did you understand what you were saying? You say, yes, I did. Then you knew what was there. So didn't you realize that this statement here meant that we were going to pay this for the rest of our lives? And in your opinion, did you think it was good? Did you seek second opinion? Did someone review it? Maybe, what is your second opinion? So that is the best practice. Is it part of your system that whenever you are entering into contract, you seek expert opinion? So this is what the experts say. Did you follow what the experts say? Oh no, expert said no, this is too much, you shouldn't sign it, but you ignored it because you didn't follow, because under the circumstances.
I get it. So what you are saying, would that be reckless or intentionally causing financial?
That would be both. That would be both. I can read intentional. You see, the intentional, no one will come and tell you that he intentionally did that.
Yeah.
I will have to prove it.
Yeah, he was being reckless.
Exactly. So aside that is where the intentional act will come in. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
Because if you are being reckless is being that you did not read through it. Okay, but if say an expert, you will spend money and hire maybe a private auditor to go through this contract for you, and they come around and say, oh listen, we've gone through the whole contract documents, we think this is not right, must be changed, because if you sign this, then this is the implication, you are losing this amount of money and it's a bad deal for you, you can get alternatives elsewhere, and you don't give that a thought, you don't consider it, you just ignore it, you don't even take it to your cabinet, you say, oh, put this away. You just intentionally took this to the expert to say, oh, give me your opinion, just to follow the procedure, but you don't do anything about it. Then what are you trying to tell us? It means that you intended doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So that is how I'm looking at it. So they will prove that. That is the point. But if, let's say, you did all that, you actually followed, you saw that they gave you that, but they say it was a good deal, you followed the procedure, that nothing can happen to you. So for them to start inviting Kwabena Donkor, after all that he said on TV, that is the best deal, blah, 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 it means that something is wrong.
Yeah. Of course, something is wrong.
Okay, something is wrong.
Something has been wrong about it way before even the plant came into Ghana, landed in Ghana.
So maybe my problem is, you see, sometimes I wonder how people do things. So can they think? That's the point. Say, what would be there? Were they thinking that, oh, look, this is Ghana, we can get our way through it. It will go to court, we will fight it, or I'll go to jail and come back. Maybe they are ready to go to jail. After all, they have the money. If they stash money away somewhere, if they go to jail, they come back, they can spend the money.
For you know, the thinking of some politicians, they take certain decisions, and then if you read into them critically, you
Chachuchikata went to jail, right?
Yeah.
He came back. I think he's richer than he went to jail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because you don't think about the consequences, because maybe your government is in power. You're so powerful that you think that you are not leaving power anytime soon. So you make certain decisions that you don't think about the immediate consequences, because like the former president Mahama said, we have short memory. There are a lot of scandals that went during his time. Yeah, and I heard about this other one, Yao Donko. you know the former
BNI director. Abidu gave it to him big time.
Come on.
Abidu gave it to him.
The guy is crying. I don't know who is crying to though.
Ghana is sweet. Ghana head. I mean, Abidu gave it to him big time. Yes.
So in terms of, to me, whether or not, even if Comrade Onko had cooperated from the beginning, one way or the other, they still will have to. Maybe it might, even if he's to be found guilty and then carry a certain term of sentence or jail term, it would have been a lot more lesser of.
You see, the level of
cooperation, it might not even have ended him in a jail.
You see, the whole contract, this American contract, is very funny. Now, the only way, in my opinion, having gone through, followed it, Ghana can extricate itself from it, is to. Once it went to Parliament and Parliament agreed it, remember?
Yeah.
And that is a very serious matter. If Parliament has agreed that contract, and you turn around and say, I'm going to abrogate it, my brother, that is judgment debt. Because the whole Parliament, so are you telling me that the whole Ghana Parliament, they didn't read and they thought they were hoodwinked? This is the problem.
Well, but you see,
when you come to the deal, because they had a majority at the time, they will pass it through.
Sometimes when a bill comes, if you look at the way our Parliament works, the bill mostly goes into the committees first. Is at the committee level that they
I understand that. Let's not go into that.
Proper scrutiny.
The point is that, in the court of law, we are not talking about whether it was passed under a certificate of urgency, or it went to the committee level and then they just say, yeah, majority is gone. Yeah. At the end of the day, Parliament, the word Parliament, agreed. Okay, it could turn out that even none of the minority members voted for the bill. It was only majority, but they passed it through.
Anyway, yeah.
So whether you like it or not, it has passed through. So Parliament has agreed. You can't just turn around and abrogate the contract. So what I was saying is that if Ghana goes right now to abrogate the contract, Ghana is going to lose a lot of money. Together we have obligations under it.
I would have been interested in that.
If Comrade Onko and my expert in international law, what's his name, Dr. Ayeni, if he he signed for Ghana.
Yeah.
If those people cooperated, or they cooperate with the Ghana government now, and say that, look, actually, we did sign this, but
under different circumstances.
There was some fraud element there. We didn't see this part of it. Okay? You are bringing these things into it. This is not what we agree. So there is some fraud here, there's some fraud here, there's some fraud here. That way, like the lawyers say, fraud vitiates everything. So you use that to counter the argument. And you come under to support your government.
I totally get what you're saying.
Unless they have taken their percentage.
No one goes to defend a bad deal for no reason. If they don't have any interest whatsoever in it, they will never defend it.
And I've heard that Ameri and most of the government, the government came out to say that they've already saved over $1 billion from renegotiating of contracts.
Yeah.
Because some of these contracts, because they've already gone through,
Ameri are willing to
renegotiate. Why are they willing? Yeah. Because they know.
So this is where sometimes I find as Ghanaians, some of our politicians really funny. The guy that you sign a contract with, the guy that going through the contract carefully, you notice that we've been shortchanged. The guy is willing to come to the table to renegotiate with you. And then you have your position. The government then is opposed to you trying to do this renegotiation, because one way or the other they know they have. This is the thing. The reason why they would do that is because they know they had some dealings.
Yeah,
somebody's benefit from somewhere. They wouldn't just go sign a contract and hand certain amount of money to their counterparts there, for no reason. Somebody is benefiting one way or the other. You get it?
Yeah.
So other than that, they would have joined hands with the government now, or the party, the majority, in trying to find a way to resolve the issue. If you look at, for instance, what K.T. Hammond said, he was the one at the time who seconded the motion to pass the Mary. And now he's come out to say that he's got certain information that says that if the parliamentarian needs to reconsider, and if he had that information, he would have had a different view. So the question,
but I'm also skeptical about.
I don't know.
Where did this information come from? What kind of information is it?
Until it comes, like, we don't at the moment. We wouldn't know what kind of information it's got.
I hope he didn't get his share, though.
Well, if he did, then
yeah, because I'm surprised.
If he did, then the special prosecutor would not. He wouldn't care which party he belongs to.
Things are now falling into places. Actually, things are really falling into. But I'll tell you off air. I will tell you this off air. Things are really falling into places. I'll tell you this off air.
Yeah,
now I see.
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying.
Things are falling into places. Did you say he seconded the deal?
Yeah, he did. Okay. He's a candidate because he was the ranking member of the Mines and Energy Committee.
Interesting.
Yeah. And now, so this is the thing. He wants to bring out some information, and one way or the other, maybe, I don't know what kind of information he had at this stage, but the minority is totally opposed to it. So if you look at the walkout in Parliament that day, to me, I don't think it has something to do with whether or not the Speaker was being fair to them. And that argument about the Speaker not being fair to the minority, sometimes these politicians, I don't get them.
My brother, you see
the hypocrisy. Joe Ajaho did worse than this Speaker.
Let me tell you.
But they were happy when
the Speaker is getting what he deserves. They should walk out, they should accuse him, they should insult him as much as they can. I will never defend this man.
Oh yes, he had a chance. But you see, Mike, this is the thing. This is the thing, Mike. Let me tell you something.
This Ayariga boy went and instead of punishing him, you sit there and say,
Mike,
your last warning. Mike, now you see what they are doing to you.
It's like this.
They should crucify him.
When you start a new position, and then right after you start, something comes up. You have your he needed to use his own judgment for now to determine, because you can't go into really too harsh.
What do you mean too harsh? It's not about harsh. This is not about harsh. A member of parliament lying.
I know. I get
that's what they claim. Yeah. Lying under oath, possibly. Okay. He should have been expelled from parliament. If that Ayariga guy had any decency, he should be out of parliament by now. And he himself should have voluntarily said that.
And I asked myself.
Okay. But he's sitting there.
You know the question I asked myself then? If Joe Ajaho was in charge, do you think he would have done same? No way.
I do not expect Joe Ajaho. You say Joe Ajaho would have done what?
He would have thrown the book at Ayariga if Ayariga was in the opposition.
Yeah, he would do that. That's exactly what you are supposed to do. But you need to maintain the integrity of parliament.
But because he didn't do that, this is the reason why, to me, it's still not too late.
And now they are attacking you. People are making noise.
To me, it's still not too late. He can still, going forward, he can still start whipping the, all of these people in play and then put them in line.
There are certain positions in life that when you ascend to those positions, it comes with responsibility. It comes with some level of authority. It comes with some level of duty. Not to yourself, not to your immediate people, but to the humanity, to the nation. Okay? Now, you can't tell me that you are against gay laws and that amnesty is harassing you to pass gay laws in parliament or to repeal gay laws in parliament. And then when it comes to corruption and immoral acts of lies and misbehavior among parliamentarians, you condone it or you sit there and think that it is okay. Do you get a point?
Yeah.
Is it because you are a preacher man? No. Morality is morality. So deal with the matter. Don't sit there and say, oh, it's okay, you've apologized, so we forgive you. This is where we are.
I think you know what?
This is where we are.
Personally,
the British High Commissioner wrote a letter to him about some MPs.
Yeah.
based on his own statement. Let me quickly finish that. He did nothing about it until that letter was leaked into the media.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing was done until the letter was leaked into the media, and the whole of Ghana were on the neck of this British High Commissioner because he said something about Ghanaian MPs.
Yeah.
But what he said was true.
It's true, yeah.
You are an MP, you do things that MPs can because you call yourself honorable.
No, I think personally, I think we need the likes of Atukuba. Justice Atukuba.
I love that man now. You see?
Yeah,
you see, he's straight. He doesn't mess about. At least he believes in what he does.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't agree with him with his petition verdict,
no.
he gave his verdict and it was clear.
he maintained discipline in the country. If it wasn't for his strict way of doing things, I think things would have gotten out of hand then.
And Charlotte Osei could be a fine speaker as well, I tell you.
No.
You people like this woman.
No. No. That woman, no.
Charlotte Osei.
No.
Why though?
I'd rather have a Atukuba as the speaker than Charlotte Osei. No way.
Charlotte Osei could be a fine speaker.
Yeah, well, you want her to say that I speak for myself.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
If there's a problem with Parliament, she will speak for herself.
She has to speak for herself. Each one for himself, God for us all. Anyway, my good friend, you were talking about nurses. You said you wanted to talk about nurses.
Oh yeah. They there's been a quota in the nursing. Where is it?
So let's see if we can end with that one.
Yeah. Oh, but the last one I'm not going to talk about.
Oh, okay. Kwame Nkrumah and Founders Day and all that.
We don't need to spend too much time on that one.
Yeah.
To me, I don't get why the CPP members get so wild.
Hang on a second. Has that day? We have a holiday already for Founders Day, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
So what is the big deal?
No, what I'm saying is, we've got Founders Day with where you put the apostrophe makes a lot of difference. Because when you put Founders Day, meaning you are just recognizing one person, but then when you put the apostrophe after the X, you are acknowledging all the other people or founders who helped in attaining independence. To me, it's a very simple thing. Even the CPP, the hardcore CPP.
You see, this history, anytime MPP comes to power, they try to raise this issue, and even the speaker has been at the forefront of this, arguing. But hey, the point of the matter is that you can't deny the role Kwame Nkrumah played. Yeah. He is the founder of Ghana. He fought for independence. Irrespective of what people did, who brought him to Ghana, who started the process, who did what. Okay? The end.
He's the founder of Ghana. We don't have a founder. We have founders. Even America do not have a founder. They have founders.
They have our founders.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be.
So they want to change it and make it founders.
That's what I'm saying. That's the way it should be.
I don't have any qualms with that. They can change it
because he's the first.
Okay, but
you see, nobody.
I don't have any problems with that.
In all the argument,
but this thing, trying to discredit Kwame Nkrumah in any way, the argument should not discredit Nkrumah.
I do not get why people talk about discrediting him, because one thing that everybody says is that he's the first amongst equals. There is equals. He is the top. That's how it should be. No one is taking that away from him. He's the first amongst equals. But then, when you want to talk about the contribution of the others, someone sits somewhere and think that you're trying to degrade him in Nkrumah's achievement.
But I don't think anyone has prevented anyone from, even when MPP was in opposition, they always held their days and the memorial days for J.B. Dankwa, Buzia lectures, and the rest. So this
whole thing became an issue with the speech that the president gave at the Independence Day celebration, when he chronicled the achievement of certain individuals, heroes in the past, starting from some 2 market women and so on, bringing in the likes of Mensa Saba and what's this other?
Yeah, that is
if look, it's they all deserve mentioning, but we all know that the main man was Nkrumah. But it doesn't mean you have to take away the contributions that the others made. This is where my issue is. Nkrumah is the first.
Who is taking the contribution that the others made?
Well,
I think you are rather getting the argument.
No,
you see,
no, I'm not getting.
Because the whole thing is like, whenever, for instance, the president's speech at that time, the Independence Day speech, sought to highlight more the role that the others made than what Nkrumah did. But
when you say
when it comes to independence, okay, what comes to mind to every Ghanaian, okay, is that even that speech that Nkrumah gave at the old polo grounds, that the independent Ghana, at long last, Ghana is free forever. The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. Okay, since the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. And he declared all these things. Yeah, and he inspired.
You see that.
Wait a minute.
What you just
the point I'm trying to say.
The black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
Still,
60 years down the line, we are talking about the same thing here. Was he right?
That is an argument. We can go into the merits and demerits of that. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the impact of his leadership, his role, the role that he played, the impact it had on Ghanaians or on the whole African continent till today is much felt than what the others did. Okay, and it's so overwhelming that it sometimes erases even what the others did.
Yeah, Mike, let me give you.
If you look, they did a survey and at the greatest African, not even Nelson Mandela.
Forget about surveys. Okay. I don't buy into doing a survey. What was the sample space? You do a survey and then what? That's somebody's opinion. If you can do another survey and then you have a different result, it doesn't matter. No.
You want to carry out a survey today?
No, I don't need to carry out a survey. But what I'm saying is, when we make an argument, then people talk about, you did a survey and then people said Nkrumah was the greatest, blah, 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 blah. I don't buy into this kind of nonsense, really.
No.
Doing a survey.
I'm afraid I disagree with you. Nkrumah was the greatest.
Let me finish.
We have to admit that.
Let me finish. Doing a survey, it depends on the sample space. What was the sample space?
Don't worry about the sample space.
Come on.
Don't worry.
Let me
ask any Ghanaian. Ask any foreigner. Ask everywhere. Okay? Ask. Which Ghanaian would you remember? Ghanaian leader do you know? Those who lived during those days. You ask them, everyone will mention Nkrumah. J.B. Dankwa never became president. Okay, Buzia became prime minister for a very short period.
Oh, Mike.
So it's obvious.
I don't understand why sometimes no one is talking about.
I am not saying that they didn't do anything.
You see, let me say this.
But on a scale of 1 to 100, on a scale of 1 to 100, great Nkrumah's performance in terms of the efforts, the impact of Ghana's independence, grade J.B. Dankwa, or grade the rest of. Put them all together and grade them, and then grade Nkrumah alone. Tell me where you put them on a scale of 1 to 100.
All right, let me tell you this before I answer that question. Let me tell you this: if you are given something to look after, whereby in your coffers you have about a billion, you have $1 billion in the coffers. You have limited resources. You can achieve a lot of things. You can do whatever you want. And then Mr. B takes over from you. And then this time around, instead of having a billion to his name, like Mr. A had, he has a minus 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
You expect Mr. B to do the same as Mr. A. And then you turn around and then you praise Mr. A and then you criticize Mr. B.
So who is Mr. B here? Who is Mr. B?
Kwame Nkrumah is Mr. A.
And who is Mr. B?
Mr. B is those that followed him.
I'm not talking about those that followed him.
No. I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. You are taking the argument to a different level. We are not talking about Nkrumah's government and the rest of the governments. We are talking about Nkrumah's efforts in getting Ghana independent at the time. The role he played, what he did, the impact it had on not only Ghana but the African continent. Compare that to Dankwa. Compare that to the rest of the big six. That is what I'm talking about. I say grade them on a scale of 1 to 100. Where will you put Nkrumah? Where will you put the rest?
How can you grade them? How can you grade them? Let me give you an example. If Dankwa had become the president, if Dankwa had been elected as the first president, I would be making the same argument. It would have been fair to compare him to Nkrumah in terms of how they perform. Dankwa never became a president.
Why was Nkrumah the president? Dankwa never became the president. Can you tell me why?
One of the reasons why Nkrumah was president, Dankwa never became president or prime minister, maybe depending on the system we're using then, was because Dankwa found himself in jail and he died in jail.
That was after Nkrumah became, what do you call it? I'm talking about proud to them coming to be. They were all in jail and they released them and they came to contest.
You see, look at it.
They were all in jail and they came out and they contested.
Let me make it.
I'm not talking about after. I'm talking about proud.
Let me make a very simple. Let me use Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo, and then Atta Mills, for instance. Yeah, if you are making a comparison between Akufo-Addo and Atta Mills became president. Yeah, and then Akufo-Addo never, let's say for argument's sake, Akufo-Addo never got a chance to become a president. And then when Atta Mills became president, he knew Akufo-Addo was the one person that potentially could succeed him or become a president. And then Atta Mills imprisons Akufo-Addo, and Akufo-Addo dies in jail. And then you sit around.
You see, you are still talking about the aftermath. I am talking about the time. Look.
You cannot limit it.
No. We are talking about Founders Day. The founder of Ghana, the time Ghana gained independence. Okay, as we know it now, 1957. The events up to 1957. This is exactly what we are talking about. I'm not talking about beyond. Events up to 1957, when Ghana gained independence. At that time, someone, is it Pag Grant, JB Dankwa and the rest, they formed their what do you call it, association to fight for the liberation of Ghana. Okay, fantastic. They were on and on and on and on and on and on and on. For some reason, they decided to go and bring Kwame Nkrumah. They thought Kwame Nkrumah was someone who also has ideas. So let's bring him to come and join us. They brought Kwame Nkrumah to come and work. And he became a full-time worker, and they were doing their...
He became a full-time worker because he was the general secretary.
Fair enough.
As in even current present
day political party. Let me tell you. And then eventually, what happened during that struggle? So this is what
he broke away from.
He broke away from them. Having broken away from them, couldn't these other six put themselves together and say, no, we brought you here, so we are at the forefront? But still, Kwame Nkrumah was able to influence, galvanize the masses, and fight for independence. Together with JB Dankwa, whether they supported or they didn't support it. The point I'm making is that the impact that Kwame Nkrumah had running up to that independence struggle is far greater than the impact that these people, these other six, had. Even though they brought him into the scene, they brought him to. So that is what we are looking at. So if you grading them, I'm not talking about presidency or not presidency. One person will be president.
Yeah, it comes down to that. That's what it comes
not
down
about
to.
who becomes president. No,
it comes down to who became president.
Or
the prime. It comes down to who became that.
No.
So what impact are you talking about if Nkrumah had not become president? It comes down to that. If the destiny, history would have changed if JB Dankwa won that election that you're talking about. The impact that you're talking about is because Nkrumah won the election.
So
that's what it is.
That is exactly. If JB Dankwa had won the election, listen to me. If JB Dankwa had won the election, JB Dankwa would have made that impact. And so today we would have been talking about JB Dankwa.
Yeah, but
we would have been talking about JB Dankwa.
Yeah.
Nkrumah would have been
that is fine.
irrelevant.
That is fine.
That is the point.
That is fine.
So don't argue when people are on about Nkrumah because the man made a very significant impact. Period. Accept that and move on.
No, that is fine. It does not mean the fact.
Remember, the current president was a young pioneer. Do you know that?
The fact that Nkrumah, was the first president, he is the first amongst equal, doesn't mean that you cannot, in appreciating him and putting him top, you cannot talk about the others as well.
No one say don't talk about the others.
So that's the whole point about this debate.
Everyone is talking about
the
others.
We are talking about founders.
I have agreed
not just
listen,
founder.
I have
There's
agreed.
No founder.
I have agreed to you. I have agreed that S, if the S is a problem there, I am happy that yes, founders, because we had a big six. Nkrumah was part of the big six. So they were all the founders.
Not just the big six.
Okay.
Everybody who contributed.
Everybody who contributed. Yeah. So do you want to tell me? My grandfather was a very strong, what do you call it, a young pioneer at that time. Not even young pioneer, that was after Nkrumah. Way before that time, he was part of that struggle. So would you want to add him to it? So
founders,
all founders.
All of them.
Okay,
founders,
that's fine.
All of them.
So put them there.
Yes.
No problem. So founders, S, and then apostrophe will follow.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Yes.
But what I want you to understand is that do not, under any shred of your imagination, denigrate the work of Nkrumah.
This is what I don't understand.
Prior to that,
by saying founders, how by saying that denigrating Nkrumah? I don't get it.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. You were trying to do some comparison, saying that A, B, giving that. Yeah. My brother, look, the vision that man had. Okay, if. But for forces, and when I say forces, I know the forces I'm talking about.
Everybody,
okay.
Mike,
not spiritual forces, though.
Mike,
these are serious forces. We know the fire. The CIA fires are out there.
Mike, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Everybody, every human being has got a vision. Put anybody in a certain vision. Everybody.
Hey, I'm telling you, no.
Listen, every human being is capable of achieving something.
That's correct. That I agree.
Anybody is capable.
We've had presidents in Ghana who didn't have any vision for the nation. I'm telling you.
Every president.
Okay. We've had presidents in Ghana who didn't have any vision for the nation.
You know,
I can tell you. You want to name them,
Mike. Sometimes.
We've had leaders in Ghana who didn't have any vision for Ghana. So please, let's not go there.
What pains me is that people trying to force down the holier than thou image of Nkrumah down our throat is really what gets to me sometimes. The man had achieved. I'm not going to take that away from him, his achievement, the things that he did. But that notwithstanding, he was also a dictator, somebody who imprisoned his political opponents and watched some of them die in prison under the guise of because he wanted the one-party state. If Ghana, if Ghanaians didn't want a democracy as the way we see it, if we wanted a democracy where we give the first person ample time to do certain
time
things.
Is fast spent. Yeah. I don't want to go into this.
Yeah, but maybe we can. If we
tomorrow,
can continue, we can.
If tomorrow President Mahama has been found to be corrupt somewhere, okay, all these corruption scandals that is going on. Recent ones, I was reading a paper recently, and someone who is very close to him involved in national service deals and all that. Okay, a whole lot of things, even some involving his wife and everything. If, let's say, our constitution permitted that we could jail our former presidents for the crime they committed whilst in office, and all these things happened, and the former president is jailed, you say, oh, a political opponent has been jailed. Okay, and
I will not. I will not say that. I will not say that. The difference between what you are saying and what happened in the past is this former president would have been tried by a competent
court of law. I agree with you,
and they would have found him guilty. What happened in the past was not the case.
I concede that. I agree with you. I've read the letter that J.B. Dankwa wrote to Kwame Nkrumah, even pleading with him that he should allow him to come out and contribute his knowledge to the development of his nation, which is so disheartening that the president did not agree to that, or he sort of ignored that, didn't do anything. But the point that you have to understand is that no human being is perfect.
Of course.
J.B. Dankwa had his faults. Nkrumah will have his faults. But at the end of the day, they all came to do what they could do for Ghana. And it turns out that Nkrumah's name is now so prominent because he ended up becoming president.
Yeah.
And then what he did was so, you know.
What he did for,
well,
Egypt, Ghana,
whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, everywhere around the world. Yes.
Everywhere.
Look, at the time, Nkrumah was behaving like he's the world the leader of Africa. Fair enough. Just as today, America is behaving like they are the world leader. So it is the mindset at the time. Yeah. We are looking at it. It's because of our circumstance now. That is why. But if he was able to achieve what he wanted to achieve.
And we paid dearly for that.
Well, it was like a gamble. Take it as a gamble. If Nkrumah has succeeded in uniting Africa, okay, and today we have African, what do you call it, United States of Africa. I was watching this athletics, international athletics, this IAF going on, World Championship going on in London. And I asked myself, when I look at the medal table, I see Ethiopia there, I see Kenya there, I see South Africa there, I see Botswana there, I see Nigeria even there. Okay, I see Ivory Coast there. I've counted about 6 African countries. So all these countries, if Africa was one country, all these talents will be in Africa. And what will happen is that we would have been having a strong force, like even stronger than the United States, but we will be more than the United States per our population, and we will be stronger. But unfortunately, it never materialized.
Okay? Oh, so you were all for all the African.
Yeah, it was like a gamble that he took, but it didn't work. No, let's not think that if it had worked, I mean, things would have been completely different.
How?
We would have been a superpower in the world with all the resources in Africa. My brother, what are you talking about?
With one person.
Not necessarily one person. If Africa had united under one leader and all the countries like we are, Ghana state like you.
Yeah, but with one person in charge.
Is that not what America is? America has got 51 states.
America speaks the same language. Africans don't speak the same language.
It really doesn't matter.
It does
what
matter.
I'm saying is that if
even
it worked,
even in Ghana, how many different languages?
I'm saying if it worked,
it wouldn't have.
Oh, why wouldn't it?
It wouldn't have, because we are not the same. We speak different languages. We are born in different. We speak different languages.
I share that.
The language barrier, different cultures.
Look at are they together? Is it not Britain that is trying to?
No.
Yeah, but they are together now.
Yeah, are we not together? We have got AU.
What AU is this? AU where are you? Where are they?
Yeah.
Look at the EU. Can you travel anywhere in Africa free? Can you go to South Africa without a visa?
You see, this is the thing.
Can you go to South Africa without a visa? Or any of the Southern African countries?
If you're talking of United,
Masa, let's call it a day. Let's call it a day. Let's call it a day, and come back to next week to discuss this, or maybe sometime during the week.
We will devote the whole discussion. This one is not going away.
Yeah, listeners, we thank you so much for tuning in. This has been your host, Mike Jones and Richard. Crossfire will be coming your way again next week, same time, from 9 to 11. So you have a good night, and I think we have something special for you before we go. Mr. D is putting something in there. All right. Good night, listeners, and thank you for listening.